Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition from Freaked Out to Freed Up. And today, from Kitchener, Ontario, we have the pleasure to have with us Sarah Joy O'Neill, who is a transformational, easier said than done, coach, and also one of the organizer of the Future Deep Listening Conference in Denver. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I'm going to ask you the infamous question, which is how does having this three principle understanding, how does that help you navigate insecurities or anxieties or shit happens, shit happening in your life? So how does that help you having this understanding?
Makes me laugh. Um, one of the effects is I find it hard to answer questions like that one. Um, because so if I answer it literally or how it's asked, I don't navigate insecurities or anxieties because they don't exist, which makes me laugh because that's not the answer most people would expect. Um, and so what the word navigate I find interesting, and it yesterday. I pondered it for a bit because I thought, what's with that word? Navigate implies that there's something in our environment that we have to move around,
Mm.
and we have to accept it as it's not going to change. So if you're driving a boat, you navigate the waves on the ocean because if you're out on the ocean that day, maybe there's waves and you have to navigate them. Um, Insecurities or stress or all different words we give to, I see it as feelings of tension, and they might be more intense or less intense, but it's a feeling of tightness, fear. Um, those come from us and they change. They move. They're not a non-negotiable, I guess. Um, so I don't have to navigate that. I'm wondering if I'm making sense.
Yes, and as you were saying that, it makes so much sense that I should change my question for
No.
now.
No, it's a great question.
Yeah, because navigate implies that we have something to do.
Hmm.
And in reality, well, there might be steps to do, but it's not to change the situation or whatever. So yes, it does make sense.
Yeah, and I guess for people, I'm not sure if people will be familiar with the three principles listening to this, but if people aren't, it's a description of how we create life from the inside out. And most people, or culturally, we think that life happens from the outside in. And so things come at us, oh, news headline, my boss, my kids, and we cope or we respond in the best way. And whoever has the best coping strategies or best response wins. But we never consider that things don't come at us, that it's us putting our own um, our own perceptions, our own thinking, our own thoughts on things that just are. Um, and I found it fun for a while. I started to experiment with if I felt attention or anger or whatever emotion around something, could I change it? And it didn't. look to me like a reframing. Reframing would be seeing something differently, like deciding, oh, that's not so bad. Maybe it's nice because I'll put a party hat on it. That's how I see that. But could I started to look at it with preferences because I had less like thinking on preferences. So I thought if I didn't know that I liked this food, how would I experience it? If I could strip away anything I'd ever thought about it, what would be left? And after it was interesting with foods because they didn't taste like I was expecting. They changed. And I tried it with people. And people I liked and people I didn't like. Because I thought, okay, if I like you because of past expectation or past experiences, what if I didn't know that I liked that person? What if I didn't know that I did or didn't? And yeah, it was interesting because people looked different to me. Um, I started to see this one. This one was very interesting to me, but I started to see. Um, I started with Canada. I'm laughing. I've always whether it's aspects of politicians or government, I've always disagreed with. Oh, I don't like this, but I might like this or that, or I don't like that guy, but I like this guy. And I started to see them all just as human beings who are doing their best to
Mm.
run their countries in the way they think is best. I may not agree with what I think is the best way to do something, but they're not a bad person for having a different outlook than me. I thought that was interesting because that was new. So yeah, life happens from inside out. So then I wondered, well, because you'd sent me your question, and I thought, okay, well, if I'm getting really honest with myself, do I do anything when I does that insecure feeling come up? And not how it used to. I would call it maybe more like I feel my body tightening. So it's the very beginning of that range of emotion. And because I know where it comes from, and I actually started to see it as more of an indicator of whether I'm present or not. So the farther away I move from presence, the more intense that tension feeling will get. And so when I notice it, I don't do anything, but we're naturally designed to come back. And the less I saw it as being attached to a particular thought that I had to fix, or especially when I didn't think it had anything to do with anything outside of me. It's just maybe I'm thinking too fast. Maybe I've just gone away from the present moment too far. We can go a little bit. Um, yeah, it's so interesting because it takes no effort. We just pop back in.
And I just want for people listening that it's not spiritual bypass either.
Yeah.
No, oh, have to think positive, have to think positive. No, it's not what we're talking about.
Well, and for a long time, I couldn't figure out what people meant by spiritual bypass because
Mm.
it wasn't anything. It was something more that people from California would say. And I didn't have any people in my current environment using that word very much. And then, but yeah, I would say it's the opposite. Actually, I don't know. It might have nothing to do with it. It's I love to know what's real, like really actually real. And if I'm putting positive thinking or negative thinking or anything on something, I have no idea what it is. So I'm always curious, what is this situation without any thought or opinion or decision from me? And I find in I was gonna say bad situations, but that's a judgment. in situations where something needs to be done, maybe somebody's punching you and you need to duck, the less thought you have on it, the much easier any action is. Like you're so clear. So I would rather be fully present with whatever somebody might want to bypass. So it's like- or you can be fully present with the wonderful stuff too. Um, it's just even better. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example. No, somebody's about to punch you. You don't have to take it.
You know, in my experience, because I've had a couple people in my life come at me swaying, and I have never had to stand there and wonder what to do. Now I could see a situation where somebody now there's less usefulness in making things up, but there's some abuse situations where the thing to do would be to stand and take it because you'd be in bigger trouble if you didn't. But that would be specific to that. And then the thing to do later would be to get away.
And it's easier to see once we're calm, and we don't get caught up. Let me
Mhm.
use my little thing. When we're caught up like this, we don't make the right decision usually.
Yeah.
But once we're calm, it's easier to see what the next step is. So,
Yeah. I was talking about this with my daughter this morning. She's 13. And she was saying that her friends were leaving her out and they weren't including her in the group. And she felt very left out. And I couldn't tell, and she couldn't tell because it, she had a lot of things she's thinking about it, and this means this and this means that, and she was confused. But I said to her, well, there is situations where they might actually be leaving you out and they might be acting mean, or you might be thinking that they are. And I said, or do you think you can tell? And actually, once she considered that and she calmed down and she goes, oh, this one friend, yes. And she acts this way and she gets others to laugh at me. These other two friends know I'm just thinking that because I'm worried because of this other experience. But when I asked her, she knew straight away because she was able to just sort of clear the windscreen, get clear, and go, oh, no, here I have actual clarity, and here I didn't because I was seeing through the fog of my thinking. Yeah. I, it's just coming to mind. I realized that when I didn't have a lot of thought that I was putting onto something, the feeling was either neutral or positive. And something that I was clear about that was maybe a bad situation, it was this clear knowing of, oh, this is bad. I have to do X, Y, Z. And but there was no anxiety, there was no anger, there was just a clear, oh, this is what's going on. If I'm feeling a negative feeling, it means I've gone away from the present moment. I'm no longer clear. I don't know what's going on. And so I found that gauge to be a simple, very simple. If it feels bad, it's me. If it feels either that neutral knowing or positive, then I'm present.
we're well made that way.
We're very well made that way. Yeah. And I've had some really bad accidents, physical things. It came to mind like, well, what if I, injured myself? Wouldn't that feel bad physically? But yeah, I remember breaking my arm, and in the moment of breaking it, it was this feeling of, oh, crap, I broke my arm. Hmm, okay, what do I do? And then thoughts came in and pain and but yeah, so I would say that there it's a recognizing rather than a navigating, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a cast no matter what, they will take the same amount of time to heal no matter what you're thinking about it. Um,
Yeah.
and but it reminds me the famous Chinese story, no, that the farmer, maybe it's no, maybe it, no, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, no, the one with the horse.
Yes.
And yeah, we're the one who put the label on, and you also remind me that I was totally lost in Kathmandu. Like, and it took me an hour and a half to find my hotel. And at the beginning, I thought it was fun because, well, no, I was not in a hurry, no, whatever. But if the same situation would have happened here, and that would make me an hour and a half late to go somewhere, I would have totally different thinking about, about the same situation. So it's the label that we put on the situation. It's never the situation, like a big bad cloud. Now, if I'm a farmer, I'll be happy to see a big bad cloud because I don't have to water my field that day. Right? If I was in Manitoba, I would be happy to see a big black cloud right now. But if I have a picnic, like totally different label on the same thing. So we're the one who decide what is good, what is bad.
Yeah. And I find some people hear that as blame, but I love it because it's empowerment. And if I can put a label as I want to or not, I can choose to not put any label. I have full power. I have full, it's like I'm the king or the god of the situation. I mean, yeah. If I have to if I have to change something outside of me to feel okay inside, well then I'm screwed because I
Mm.
have to run around trying to fix everybody or make everybody act in a certain way, which that doesn't feel good. It never works. You might get one person to start acting. No, wait, okay. Now there's however many billion more, but it never works. Um, Yeah, and I'm thinking back to how well we're made. That signal of tension, I see it as almost like a signal of hunger. We don't know what it means, so we get tense. Oh, we've gone away off into thought. But we if we don't do anything, we come back. We're made to come back to the present moment. And I can't even remember them now, but this week there was a couple specific things where I noticed myself. I thought I had to do something to come back.
Mm.
And the only reason I wasn't was because I thought I had to do something. When I realized I didn't have to do anything. I think just noticing the tension feeling or the off feeling, then you and letting your system do what it's made to do. Yeah, it's interesting.
With patience too, in a sense. So sometimes it doesn't take 2 seconds and a half.
Mm.
So sometimes with patient, sometimes it can take 2 seconds, just the noticing that brings you back in the now. But
Every
other
time,
times you just know that, okay, have not take my thinking seriously right now. That's all I can do. So,
yeah, yeah. I had noticed that when I didn't come back quickly, now this might just be my experience, but in those times where it took a while, was because I was still doing something. I
mm,
was going back to the thinking. Oh, okay. And so it's like I'm messing with that natural system. And okay, fine. There's no consequences other than it takes a bit of extra time. And okay, so what? But yeah, I found that interesting. It goes, oh, that's because I'm still doing something, even which just makes me laugh. 'Cause it's just funny. Yeah, yeah.
So good news for everybody. You don't have to do anything.
Don't have to do anything, and it's okay to feel whatever you feel. And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, without the judgment.
yeah. Because yeah, I would feel any and all range of emotions and not think anything of it, and it all flows. And I would say, and at the same time, I generally feel a level of peace or bliss or joy, and that never it never goes away. It's always there in tandem with whatever else I might be thinking up or cooking up. Yeah. Judgment is an interesting thing. And I'm not sure, just now, I've never had this thought before. Just now I thought, well, I wonder why we have that capacity. I guess it allows for free will or something, but if we never judged, that would kind of be, I feel like that would be cool. I'm not sure there's a downside. Like, is there a purpose to judging? Do we actually need it? And judging separate from, say, discernment or, but I don't know, maybe preferences.
Yeah, judgments come just from our beliefs. We're beliefs that the world should be a certain way. We believe that people should speak a certain way or dress a certain way. And it just comes from beliefs. And what are beliefs? Our thoughts, really.
Yeah.
So thoughts
Or
that
the
we heard so often, or thoughts that we taught so often, that we think that's
or that
the
the
right
world,
thing.
yeah, sorry. We think the world should line up to our preferences.
The world would be so much easier if people.
My husband used to say that I would be happiest if I was the dictator of the world because I had all the answers and I was always right. And I could say this was many years ago. I've I've let that go. But actually, he said that enough that I thought about it. I'm like, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want that because then I'd have to. I wouldn't want to have to be in charge of everybody. That makes me laugh too. Yeah.
Thinking of in charge, do you want to say a word or two about your conference in Denver?
Sure. So in August 1st to 3rd, there is a conference happening in Denver called Listening to Ignite the Human Spirit. And so it's about deep listening, what that means, how to, I guess it's an exploration of looking at when we are coming from the deepest part of ourselves, how it ignites that within others, and how that's contagious in the most positive way. And yeah, and looking at different aspects of that, how we can do that better and with ourselves and with others. And yeah,
And
creative.
where can people find more information about it?
That's a great question. The website is The Listening World, and I'm just now checking. Yes, thelisteningworld.com. And there is where you can see that it's happening in Denver. And then next year, there's going to be one in Prague, and there will be a slightly different title all around deep listening. So thelisteningworld.com.
And if people want to find you, where can they find you?
They can find me. I have a couple websites. There is liveyouralive.com heartfeltlife.com. I also have Dr. Sarah Joy O'Neill.com. I have a blog. You can find it there. My current blog, I would go to the liveyouralivelife.com website. Um, yeah, that would be where to find me. I'm also on Instagram, Sarah Joy O'Neill. You can find me there.
Thank you, Sarah.
And thank you. This was really fun, Melty.